Hi, teachers, and welcome. I want to start by first thanking you for choosing my art module to share with your students. I've done this activity with other first graders, and although it can be a little challenging, it's doable and can be very rewarding. I'd like to invite you to modify any activity as you see fit, since you know your students better than I do. Please just use curiosity and a willingness to try new things and have the students focus on the process rather than the product. In this video, I will be talking about prepping your materials and the classroom, as well as CEL and the class discussion that you'll be facilitating. A few days before the activity, please collect a few 3D objects that are simple but interesting, like fruit or pottery, like a cup or a vase, or anything in the classroom that's simple but interesting. These are the objects that the students will be doing their observational drawing with, the still life art drawings. Students will need 2 pencils each with a substantial point and a substantial eraser and a 2 8.5 by 11 all-purpose white paper. We will be folding the paper either in half to create 2 different sections for 2 different still life drawings, or if time allows, we'll do 4, 1 on each section. During my lesson, I guide kids on how to fold these. However, if you have some students that have some trouble with folding, perhaps you could get that prepped for them so that they don't struggle from the very beginning. Also, if possible, it's really good to have clipboards for kids, especially the wiggling ones. If you don't have clipboards for everybody, you can do a makeshift clipboard with a piece of cardboard and 2 paper clamps, holding the paper down on either side, or you could tape down a piece of paper onto a hardcover book. Before you begin to prepare the classroom, you need to decide whether you're going to be doing the rotation or not. For the rotation, there will be objects on stations, and the students will rotate from one station to the next after their time is up at one station. If you decide to rotate, then you want to arrange the classroom prior to the activity. Sometimes moving the chairs and desks around can be a little chaotic, and it's best to do art calm. So I like to arrange the classroom a little bit ahead of time. I like to push 4 or 5 or 6, depending on the size of your class, desks together to make one island of desks or station. And you can do that with the entire classroom, pushing them into stations for each group to sit at for one period of drawing before moving on to the next station that will have a different 3-dimensional object on it for them to try. Regardless of whether you're going to rotate or not, you want to make sure that the desks are clear and free of debris or books or any supplies, except for the supplies for the art lesson. You also want to make sure that the walkways are free and clear. If you are going to do this activity with the kids staying at their own desks, what you could do is project with your dock cam these objects one by one, set the timer, have them draw the outside line, about 5 minutes for that part. We want to encourage students to do just the outside, using their observational skills to create that contour line. No details for the first part. After they've drawn their contour line, then they'll have more time, between 10 and 15 minutes, depending on your schedule, to do some of the shading practices that I've shown in the lesson. For the classroom discussion that you will be facilitating, I have 3 questions on slide number 4 in the slide deck. I encourage you to use whatever sharing system works for your classroom, but if you want to try something new, I like to ask one question at a time, have students think, give me a signal of some kind when they've got an answer, and then pair share with their partner closest to them. Lastly, I'd like to encourage you to incorporate cell principles whenever possible. My lesson chose to focus on curiosity and self-awareness, but I have others on my lesson plan, or you can feel free to use some of your favorite principles. I also like to give students frequent reminders to tune in and take breaks when needed. If your classroom has a calming space or a calming corner, it's good to remind kids to use that space to reset and come back and try the activity again. All right, I think that is everything. You are ready. I hope you and your students have a great time, as well as learn something new about yourselves and each other while you're making beautiful art. If you'd like, there are extensions and modifications on the lower part of my lesson plan, or you can just feel free to modify my exercises however you think would work best for your classroom. Thanks so much again. Take care and have fun making art. Bye.